Jackie Wilson was a shining star in music, famous for his exciting performances and soulful voice. However, behind the music and fame, his life was filled with struggles that eventually led to his tragic death. What choices caused Jackie to face such a sad end? At first glance, Jackie appeared to have a happy marriage, caring for 4 children with his spouse. However, his life was anything but perfect despite his outward appearance. One may ask themselves, how is it possible for his story to be considered tragic? Despite acquiring his childhood love, Jackie's issues persisted. Because of work obligations, he had to reside in a leased apartment in New York, separated from his family residing in Detroit. Regrettably, this disconnection led to his careless actions, particularly his habit of pursuing other women. Jackie was known for being a ladies' man. Reports about him spread far and wide, including a startling allegation that he impregnated 15 girls during his adolescence. With no one present to supervise him, the situation deteriorated. The situation turned critical on February 15, 1961, in Manhattan, when Jackie found himself in a perilous predicament. His girlfriend, Juanita Jones, fired him when he arrived home with Harlene Harris, who was a former partner of Sam Cooke and later was married to Jackie. Jackie's team attempted to conceal the event by putting forth the narrative that Juanita was merely a fan who became obsessed and fired him out of jealousy. Nevertheless, the reality was that Juanita was his romantic partner, and their intense disagreement resulted in the gunfire. Jackie was struck in the abdomen, and despite surviving, he had to have 1 kidney removed, and the bullet was too near his spine for it to be extracted by doctors. Despite miraculously surviving, Jackie continued his playboy lifestyle without making any changes. He kept having affairs, while his wife Frida stayed oblivious to his actions. Jackie faced his legal difficulties, being taken into custody on 3 separate occasions throughout his life. In 1960, he got into trouble in New Orleans during a show for shoving a police officer while trying to calm down rowdy fans clamoring onto the stage. After a performance in St. Louis in 1964, Jackie escaped from the police by jumping out of a 2nd-floor window. In 1959, he got caught up in a legal ordeal due to a botched contract deal, leading to a brief jail stay before posting $3,000 for bail. In March 1967, Jackie encountered further issues in South Carolina when he and his drummer, Jimmy Smith, were taken into custody on morals charges after being found with 2 white women in their motel room. Interracial couples were not legally permitted back then, intensifying the situation. Despite her affection for Jackie, Frida found it challenging to deal with his mischievous behavior. Repeatedly, she attempted to withstand, but it became overwhelming for her. In 1965, she ultimately requested a divorce, liberating herself from the weight of their turbulent relationship. Jackie, on the other hand, appeared to be unaffected by the separation. Only 2 years later, he tied the knot with the same model he had an affair with. This marriage was mainly for show to improve his reputation in the public's view. They had a son before getting married, but their relationship deteriorated quickly, leading to their separation in 1969. Just 2 years later, Jackie's personal life was even more complicated. Rumors suggested that he had fathered numerous children, one of whom is the well-known actor and singer Bobby Brooks Wilson. However, he did not find peace in any of these relationships, particularly after facing a devastating setback in 1970. Jackie Jr., his 16-year-old son, was fired and died on a neighbor's porch close to their Detroit residence. The devastation caused by the loss of his son plunged Jackie into a profound state of depression. He isolated himself from the public for a long time and resorted to using substances to deal with the overwhelming sorrow. Regrettably, the series of tragic events did not stop at that point. Jackie experienced additional heartbreaking losses with the passing of 2 of his daughters at a young age. His 24-year-old daughter, Sandra, passed away from what appeared to be a heart attack. After that, in 1988, his oldest daughter Jala passed away in a substance-related event in Highland Park, Michigan. Jackie was greatly burdened by increasing losses and started feeling remorse for the decisions he had made in his life. Jackie was equally in a disastrous financial situation. In 1961, he disclosed yearly income of $263,000, a significant amount back then. Nonetheless, because of his manager, Nat Tarapole's mishandling of his finances, Jackie ended up bankrupt. Jackie had to repurchase his Detroit home after the IRS took it due to unpaid taxes. In 1975, Tarapole and his colleagues from Brunswick Records were found guilty of fraud and tax evasion, but their convictions were later reversed. Jackie was stuck with a huge debt that she never managed to pay back. When the legal disputes began, Jackie's life had already undergone a tragic change. He transitioned from a wealthy playboy to a father unable to shield his children and a man overwhelmed by financial obligations. The burden of his decisions, whether personal or financial, greatly affected his heart. But how did the sweet Jackie we all know reach this point? How did he become a father at the age of 17? What kind of life did he lead during his childhood? Jackie's singing passion. Jackie Leroy Wilson Jr. was born on June 9, 1934, in Highland Park, Michigan, as the third and sole surviving child of Jack Leroy Wilson Sr. and Eliza Mae Wilson. During his early years, his parents spoiled him, providing him with a comfortable beginning to life. A couple of years later, Jackie started going to see his grandparents in Mississippi, where he frequently went to choir services at a nearby chapel. His mother thought that these visits had a good impact on him. Nonetheless, she did not know that Jackie was mainly present for the music and had little enthusiasm for the preaching. He was excited to hear the music that would eventually become his lasting legacy. As Jackie's love for music increased, he began singing in the church choir with his talented mother. This was possibly the sole moment in his existence when he experienced true joy, engaging in his passion for singing. Despite the family's overall success, Jackie's father's battle with alcoholism frequently caused him to be absent from home. Jack Sr. often ended up without a job, causing disorder in the household. Realizing he was unable to support his family, Jack Sr. decided to leave them when Jackie was only 9 years old. This split made it Jackie's mother's responsibility to raise him by herself, which is difficult for any solo parent. Having difficulty providing for her child, she got married again to a man named John Lee. Contrary to her ex-husband, John was a good man who had a steady job. This marriage appeared to offer Jackie a sense of stability, and for a while, it seemed like things were going to be fine for him. However, that was not the case, as Jackie's life took an unexpected turn at such a tender age. The root of Jackie's chaotic life. Jackie often performed in the choir, but desired to display his talent to a wider audience. In order to achieve this objective, he became a member of a quartet known as the Ever Ready Gospel Singers. Their acts became well-liked, leading to a positive reputation with nearby churches. Nevertheless, this is where the situation started to deteriorate. The funds they made from their performances were frequently used to purchase alcohol. Jackie found this way of life to be thrilling and had his first drink when he was only 10 years old. Sometimes, the leftover funds were used for betting, with Jackie occasionally keeping all the profits for his use. These decisions started to populate his early recollections with unpleasant memories. Not long after, Jackie became a member of a gang known as the Shakers, which held a strong influence in Detroit. Consequently, he turned into a troublemaker, frequently missing school to socialize with his friends. At this time, his passion for music diminished, and he dealt with the repercussions of his choices. Jackie was twice sent to a detention center at the Lansing Correctional Institute to think about his mistakes. It was at this time that he acquired the skill of boxing. At the age of 16, Jackie left high school and went on to become a welterweight boxing champion in Detroit's Golden Gloves competition. He was prepared to engage in battle at any moment and in any location. As a member of the Shakers, Jackie faced challenges in determining what was right and wrong, often getting into trouble as a result. At times, he instigated conflicts, while at other times, he was ambushed by enemy groups. Jackie was not suited for this violent lifestyle, yet he was unsure how to break free from it. Jackie's mother grew more and more concerned about the decisions he was making in his life. In an attempt to facilitate his transformation, she compelled him to leave the gang. Nevertheless, her efforts to guide him away from trouble were not completely successful. In the end, Jackie felt forced to wed Frida Hood because her father was not happy with their relationship. Jackie became a father to a baby girl named Jacqueline Denise when he was only 17 years old. How do you think Jackie would handle this? Would becoming a father bring about the change everyone hoped for? Keep watching to find out. Frida, the younger sibling of Dunn Hudson, was also Jackie's neighbor and close friend. Jackie had been acquainted with Frida since they were 10 years old, frequently staying over at her house in order to catch a glimpse of her. He grew deep affection for her and eventually chose to reveal his emotions. Even though Frida first declined, she eventually recognized he was her perfect match, and their bond started to flourish. Despite being youthful, their connection was remarkably sophisticated for their age. Over time, Frida's love for Jackie grew stronger, and it appeared she was willing to go to great lengths for him. She also became a member of the female branch of the Shakers gang in the hopes of bringing him joy by being in his proximity. The dynamic of their relationship shifted significantly when Frida became pregnant with their daughter. Even though Frida's parents had originally not approved of Jackie, they eventually endorsed the couple, despite the overwhelming news. Nevertheless, Jackie started to have doubts about marrying Frida. It was clear that he was unsure when he did not show up on time for their wedding. Worried, they dispatched individuals to locate him, and eventually found out he was at a nightclub, entertaining and imbibing. You may believe this would terminate their relationship, but Frida's affection for Jackie stayed steadfast. Even with his flaws and the disorder surrounding them, she embraced him for who he was. However, all this was not enough to stop Jackie from living the life he wanted. Pursuit of fame. Jackie was a daring individual. Despite being a newlywed, he believed it was premature for him to embrace a traditional lifestyle and settle down. His heart was pulled by his desire for freedom and adventure. He aimed to show Frida's family his responsible side by getting a job at a factory. Nevertheless, buried deep inside him, the longing for his abandoned passion persisted. Intent on reviving the flame, he started to follow a singing career while continuing to work at the factory. Jackie began singing solo at different nightclubs, using a fake ID since he was underage to legally perform at those venues. Recognizing that the current setup was not sustainable, he quickly established a band named the Falcons alongside his cousin, Levi Stubbs. Regrettably, the Falcons' existence was brief, as they broke up soon after Levi and Jackie caught the attention of a talent agent for a singing group named the Thrillers, which eventually transformed into the Royals. Formerly on the Royals team, Jackie was noticed by a different manager, Al Green. With his mentorship, Jackie released his debut hit track, Danny Boy. The song became popular and immediately caught the eye of Billy Ward, the talent agent for the widely known R&B vocal group called the Dominoes. They were looking for a new lead singer to replace Clyde McPhatter, so they offered Jackie a chance to audition. This was the moment Jackie had been working towards since the beginning. He was now on the brink of achieving his ambitions in the music business. Nevertheless, the route was more complex than it seemed. McPhatter was a notable figure in the music industry, and the Dominoes were having a hard time finding a replacement who could not just step into his role, but also capture the same dedication and energy during shows. Understanding the risks involved, Jackie was resolute in showing his worth. Upon entering the audition, he confidently declared his superiority to McPhatter. This bold assertion made the group cautious, but Jackie was strategic in his actions. Feeling uncertain about his skills, Jackie hesitated before starting to sing. His performance was truly magical, captivating the panel and turning their doubt into respect. Jackie's undeniable talent was recognized, and they understood they may have discovered a valuable asset. The Dominoes took him on immediately, but they made it clear that he still had a lot of work ahead to reach McFadder's legendary status. Jackie was humbled by this feedback, yet it also motivated his ambition. Excited to acquire knowledge, Jackie carefully watched McFadder's behavior, stance, voice techniques, and other aspects. He observed the iconic vocalist until he started to imitate his techniques, which was exactly what the Dominoes had in mind. The group also asked Jackie to change his name from Jack Wilson to Sonny, his preferred name. They chose to change his name to Jackie Wilson, combining aspects of his original name with the new identity they wanted him to embrace. With these transformations and advancements, Jackie's prospects began to look hopeful. It appeared that he was very close to achieving a prosperous career with the Dominoes. But before that could happen, Jackie's career started to decline. He realized he needed to do something fast to save all he had worked for. What do you think Jackie would do next? How would his choices affect his career? Jackie sang lead for the band for approximately 3 years, but when McFadder left, everything changed dramatically. The group faced challenges in reaching the same level of fame after losing their iconic singer. Within that 3-year period, they experienced a short period of fame before their popularity started to diminish. Jackie recognized he had reached the limit of what he could gain from the group and chose to embark on a solo career. While working on his solo career, he inched closer to establishing his reputation, yet it remained insufficient. Jackie sought out chances to begin and work together with some songwriters. During this period, he encountered Berry Gordy, who had a similar intense love for music and performing under the spotlight. Prior to reaching out to Gordy, Jackie had already made an agreement with Brunswick Records. Things were going well until tragedy hit, with the sudden passing of his partner, Al Green. During this difficult time, Nat Terrell, Jackie's friend, came to his aid in signing the contract with Brunswick, ultimately leading Jackie to become one of the top artists at the label. Jackie and Berry Gordy had a strong connection due to their shared backgrounds, common interests in women, and mutual love for boxing. Above all, they both possessed a remarkable skill for composing music that connected with the audience. The dynamic between them was essential in Jackie's success. Gordy wrote Jackie's first solo track, Reet Petit. Even though it was a slow process, the song started to become popular worldwide. Soon, Jackie was able to connect with people all over the world with his singing, making his dream come true. Yet, this achievement came with a high price tag, one that would continue to trouble him for the rest of his days. Even with millions of records sold, Jackie encountered personal obstacles that ultimately caused his downfall. Berry Gordy and Jackie continued to work together on 6 additional songs, further establishing his place in the spotlight and demonstrating that his previous success was not a one-time lucky occurrence. Jackie started to receive more acknowledgement for his captivating shows. His lively dance moves, strong vocals, and fashionable look led to him being called Mr. Excitement. Many well-known artists, such as James Brown, Teddy Pendergrass, Michael Jackson, and Elvis Presley, were influenced by his performance on stage and formed a friendship with Jackie. In a picture they posed for, Presley wrote that Jackie had found a lifelong buddy. Jackie was sometimes referred to as the Black Elvis, and both Wilson and Presley admired each other's skills. In an interview, Jackie once stated that he supposed that meant he was the white version of Jackie Wilson to demonstrate his artistic individuality. Jackie consistently delivered thrilling performances that never failed to hold the audience's attention. He would kneel, do splits, rotate, and flip backwards while gliding on one foot. In his performances, he had a routine where he would remove his tie and jacket and occasionally ask unattractive women in the crowd to join him for a kiss. He thought that by convincing the ugliest girl to kiss him, others would follow suit and purchase his music. Even though his motives may not have been pure, this strategy undeniably increased his sales. Jackie's shows not only focused on music, but also drew a large following of female admirers. In his performances, numerous women would examine his physique, and he frequently called the female audience members his own. His actions caused conflict with his wife, Frida Wilson, who strongly disagreed with his behavior. Nevertheless, Jackie always desired attention and control, and Frida overlooked it due to her strong infatuation with him. Jackie was frequently seen on TV, making appearances on shows such as The Ed Sullivan Show, American Bandstand, Shindig, and Hullabaloo. He also had a brief role in the film Go Johnny Go, singing his popular track, You Better Know It. Musical transformation. In 1958, Jackie Wilson's career took a significant turn when he, along with his manager Nat Tarnopol, parted ways with Brunswick Records. This split was caused by increasing conflicts over payments between Wilson and Tarnopol and two important individuals, Davis and Gordy. Following his departure, Davis found success as a staff songwriter and producer at Chess Records. Simultaneously, Gordy took $800 from his family and utilized earnings from writing for Wilson to create Hitsville, USA, his recording studio, which eventually became the launching pad for Motown Records in Detroit. In the meantime, Tarnopol thought that Wilson had the potential to excel in genres other than R&B and rock and roll. He urged Wilson to capture operatic ballads and easy listening songs. In order to accomplish this, he teamed up Wilson with Dick Jacobs, an experienced arranger from Decca Records. As Wilson moved into the 1960s, he started to achieve success with his music. His track Doggin' Around climbed to the 15th spot on the charts, while the ballad Night was a major success, reaching the 4th position. This song also achieved million-seller status for him. He achieved success with Baby Workout, reaching number 5, a song co-written with Alonzo Tucker from the Midnighters. Their collaboration in writing songs resulted in the creation of multiple tracks, such as No Pity, In the Naked City, and I'm So Lonely. Wilson's streak of success continued with Alone at Last, which climbed to the 8th spot in 1960, and My Empty Arms, which reached number 9 in 1961. In 1961, Wilson put out an album honoring Al Jolson called Nostalgia. You haven't heard anything yet. In that album, he wrote liner notes for the first and only time, expressing his admiration for Jolson. He declared that Jolson was the best entertainer of that period or any other, mentioning that he had nearly all of Jolson's recordings and hardly ever failed to hear him on the radio. He noted that in the 3 years since he started recording music, his goal had been to create an album of songs that honored the rich Jolson legacy in his eyes, stating that it was just his small way of honoring the man he admired the most in the industry to preserve Jolson's legacy. He regrettably added that the album did not succeed financially. After the hit Baby Workout, Wilson experienced a career slump from 1964 to 1966. Throughout this time, Tarnopol and Brunswick Records put out numerous unproductive albums and singles. Despite failing to achieve commercial success, Wilson continued to develop artistically. He made an album with jazz great Count Basie and worked together on duets with R&B singer Laverne Baker and gospel performer Linda Hopkins. In 1966, Wilson started a revival aided by seasoned Chicago soul producer Carl Davis. He put out the track Whispers Getting Louder, which was well received. In the next year, he dropped Your Love Keeps Lifting Me Higher and Higher, which was a big success, peaking at number 6 on the pop charts in 1967. This song eventually became one of his last big hits. I Get the Sweetest Feeling, another song, achieved moderate success in the United States by making it to the No. 34 spot on the Billboard Pop chart. Nevertheless, it eventually became one of his major global hits, placing in the top 10 2 times in the UK and reaching the top 20 on the Dutch Top 40 chart. Numerous other musicians, such as Edwin Starr, Will Young, Irma Franklin, sister of Aretha Franklin, and Liz McClarnon, also recorded versions of I Get the Sweetest Feeling. Davis's insistence that Wilson's musical revival was dependent on him not recording with Brunswick's musicians in New York was a critical factor. Instead of that, Wilson started making recordings with Detroit musicians. usually connected to Motown Records, along with session musicians from Davis's Chicago group. The Funk Brothers, Detroit musicians, participated in Wilson's recordings because they admired both Davis and Wilson. In 1975, Wilson and the Chi-Lites were the lone important artists left on Brunswick's lineup. While Wilson kept releasing singles that were popular on the R&B charts, he faced difficulty in achieving significant success on the pop charts. Eugene Record of the Chi-Lites wrote his last successful song, You Got Me Walkin'. In 1972, this song was released with the Chi-Lites providing vocals and instruments, signaling the conclusion of Jackie Wilson's influential music career. However, his ending wasn't as beautiful as his music. Although his tragic fall and scandal played a huge role, you'll be surprised to find out that it was Jackie who caused his death. Let's find out more. The dark truth behind Jackie's tragic end. During a performance in New Jersey in 1975, Jackie Wilson was singing Lonely Teardrops when he got to the part that said, My heart is crying. Suddenly he fell to the ground on the stage due to a heart attack. Initially, the spectators believed it was a component of his performance. But when he failed to regain consciousness, fear began to take hold. Detecting a problem, Clark, one of the entertainers, instructed the musicians to cease playing. Cornell Gunter, a member of the Coasters who was in the backstage area, noticed that Wilson was not taking in any breaths. Gunter acted promptly and successfully revived him. Following that, Jackie was quickly taken to a hospital close by for urgent medical attention. Larry Geller, who was familiar with Wilson, at that time mentioned that Jackie enjoyed sweating profusely while performing. He expressed this to Elvis Presley, stating that the girls enjoy it. In order to do this, Wilson would consume a few salt tablets and hydrate himself with plenty of water prior to his performance. Nevertheless, excessive salt intake is recognized as a contributing factor to heart disease, potentially contributing to his health issues. While medical staff tried to stabilize Jackie's vital signs, the oxygen deprivation to his brain resulted in him falling into a coma. In the beginning of 1976, he briefly showed signs of improvement and was able to walk a few shaky steps before reverting back to a semi-conscious state. In a difficult time, Wilson's friend and fellow musician Bobby Womack put together a benefit concert at the Hollywood Palladium on March 4th to support raising money for Wilson's medical bills. In early June 1976, Jackie was considered conscious but incapacitated, conscious of his surroundings, but unable to communicate. He resided at Medford Lease Retirement Center in New Jersey before being hospitalized at Memorial Hospital of Burlington County in Mount Holly for nutrition-related issues. Elvis Presley stepped in to help cover a large portion of Wilson's medical expenses. While he was staying at the nursing home, a friend named Joyce McRae made an effort to take care of him. Nevertheless, Jackie was put under the custody of his distant wife, Harlene Harris, and her attorney, John Mulkerin, in 1978. Unfortunately, Jackie Wilson died at 49 on January 21, 1984, because of pneumonia complications. When he died, he lacked the funds needed to pay for a suitable burial plot. At first, he was interred in a grave without a marker at West Lawn Cemetery, close to Detroit. In 1987, supporters united to gather funds to buy a tomb for him. Jack the Rapper Gibson, an Orlando disc jockey, spearheaded this initiative. Jackie Wilson was laid to rest in the mausoleum at West Lawn Cemetery in Wayne, Michigan on June 9, 1987, his 53rd birthday. After her death in 1975, his mother, Eliza Wilson, was buried in the mausoleum as well, guaranteeing that they would be united in their ultimate resting spot. Given the life Jackie lived, what do you think his legacy is? Will his challenges overshadow his remarkable talent? Jackie's lasting influence. Jackie Wilson's life did not end well, but his lasting influence has motivated countless fans and artists. Legendary celebrities like Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Elvis Presley, and Bobby Wilson have been influenced by Wilson's outstanding skill and captivating shows. In 1972, Van Morrison honored Jackie's impact with the tribute track, Jackie Wilson Said, I'm in Heaven When You Smile, on his well-received album St. Dominic's Preview. The band Dexys Midnight Runners covered this sincere tribute in 1982, making sure that Wilson's influence lived on in music. Wilson's talent resonated even more strongly after he died. During the 1984 Grammy Awards, Michael Jackson honored him when he received the Album of the Year Grammy for his iconic album, Thriller. Jackson pointed out that there are entertainers and then there are exceptional entertainers. He mentioned that some people are followers, while others are trailblazers who pave the way. He expressed that Jackie Wilson was an amazing performer and noted that although Jackie was no longer with them, he wanted to convey his love and gratitude to him wherever he may be. This passionate dedication showcased the significant influence Wilson had on the upcoming generation of artists. In 1985, the Commodores launched Night Shift, a heartfelt song paying tribute to both Jackie Wilson and Marvin Gaye, who died in 1984. The song was a powerful indication of the musical heritage left by these two icons. In Europe, Wilson saw a spectacular revival after his hit song, Riet Petit, reached #1 on the charts in the Netherlands, the Republic of Ireland, and the United Kingdom in 1986. The revival was assisted by an engaging animated video showcasing a clay version of Wilson that won over the audience on the BBC Two television network. In the next year, Wilson's impact increased further with another hit on the UK singles chart, I Get the Sweetest Feeling, reaching #3, along with Your Love Keeps Lifting Me Higher and Higher, which climbed to #15. In his 1994 autobiography titled To Be Loved, named after one of the songs he wrote for Wilson, Berry Gordy, the iconic creator of Motown, recognized Wilson's remarkable talent. Gordy declared Wilson as the best vocalist he had ever listened to, the perfect example of innate excellence. He also mentioned that Wilson established a high level that he would always look for in other artists. In 1994, Peter Tork from the Monkees honored Wilson by recording a bluegrass rock version of Your Love Keeps Lifting Me Higher and Higher on his solo album, Stranger Things Have Happened. Tork had already put out the song as a single in 1981, and it soon became his standout solo performance during Monkees live shows. Jackie Wilson's legacy remains strong in popular culture. In the 2010 VH1 special, Say It Loud, a celebration of black music in America, Smokey Robinson and Bobby Womack honored Wilson's remarkable impact on music with sincere appreciation. Smokey stated that he believed Jackie Wilson was the most exciting singer and performer he had ever witnessed. Bobby proclaimed that, in his opinion, Wilson was the true Elvis Presley, and that Elvis had also drawn inspiration from him. In 2010, Rolling Stone magazine ranked Wilson's iconic songs, Your Love Keeps Lifting Me, Higher and Higher, and Lonely Teardrops, as number 248 and number 315 on their list of the 500 greatest songs of all time, solidifying his reputation as a musical legend. In 2014, the modern artist Hozier dropped the track Jackie and Wilson, summarizing Wilson's impact with the line, "Our kids will be called Jackie and Wilson, brought up on rhythm and blues." This delightful gesture guaranteed that Wilson's impact would keep motivating generations to come. In 2016, Jackie Wilson's legacy was honored by renaming Cottage Grove Street in Detroit as Jackie Wilson Lane, a fitting tribute to the city where his talent flourished. In 2018, Hologram USA Networks Inc. premiered the hologram stage production Higher and Higher, the Jackie Wilson story, reviving Wilson's mesmerizing performances for a fresh audience. Throughout the 2019-20 NHL season, the St. Louis Blues paid tribute to Wilson by featuring Your Love Keeps Lifting Me Higher and Higher following each victory at home, recognizing his positive attitude and musical impact. During a memorable moment at the 2024 Democratic National Convention, President Joe Biden was introduced with Wilson's song short Your Love Keeps Lifting Me, higher and higher, highlighting the enduring impact of Wilson's music. So what do you think about Jackie Wilson's tragic death? Let us know in the comments. If you want more interesting revelations, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch the next video shown on your screen. See you there.